If you knew that one decision could break your pain, silence your fears, and give you back your life, would you have the courage to make it? I didn't, not at first. I kept waiting for life to change on its own, but it never did until I made one decision that changed everything. Let me take you back to the moment I learned something life-altering. Your happiness does not arrive by accident. It arrives when you choose it. And choosing it is not soft, not easy, not magical. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, but it is powerful. There was a time when I believed happiness was a reward. I thought it would come when people finally treated me right, when things finally calmed down, when life finally gave me a break. I waited for months, for years, and nothing changed because happiness is not delivered. Happiness is claimed. The moment everything shifted was the moment I decided to stop giving people the power to control my peace. You don't realize how much of yourself you give away until you feel empty, emotionally tired, and spiritually drained. That's when I understood the world doesn't steal your happiness. You hand it over piece by piece. Approval here, validation there, silence to keep the peace. Smiling when you're breaking, saying, I'm fine, when your soul is screaming. So I made one decision. I will not let anyone control my happiness again. Not their opinions, not their moods, not their judgments, not their expectations. And that decision was the moment I took my life back. Because happiness is not a place, it's a boundary. It's a choice to protect your heart, a choice to love yourself even when others don't, a choice to stop apologizing for feeling deeply, wanting better, and choosing peace over chaos. And that decision became the beginning of freedom. You know what surprised me the most? The moment you choose yourself, people get angry. Not supportive, angry. Because as long as you bend, they feel powerful. As long as you stay silent, they stay comfortable. As long as you sacrifice yourself, they call you good. So when you finally say, I deserve peace, the world hears, you can't use me anymore, that's when the masks fall off. Some people suddenly become cold, some distance themselves, some try to guilt you back into your old patterns, and you start questioning yourself. Am I being selfish? Am I changing too much? Am I the problem? No, you are only becoming someone who is done suffering. Happiness demands courage. Sometimes the courage to leave. Sometimes the courage to say no. Sometimes the courage to speak the truth you've swallowed for years. And here's the painful secret no one warns you about. The moment you protect your peace, you lose people who only loved the unhealed version of you. The version who stayed quiet. The version who tolerated everything. The version who gave without receiving. The version who apologized for existing. You mourn that loss, even if you know it's right. Because losing familiarity is painful, even when familiarity was destroying you. But hear this, you do not lose real people when you respect yourself. You lose the ones who benefited from your pain, and that's where real happiness begins, when you stop begging for love. When you stop chasing acceptance. When you stop shrinking so others can feel tall, that's when life starts opening like a window in a dark room. You breathe again. You sleep deeper. You wake up without that heavy feeling in your chest. Not because life became easier, but because you finally became loyal to your own heart. And that's the decision that begins. I think there comes a moment, a quiet, powerful moment, when you finally stop explaining yourself. You stop justifying your boundaries. You stop defending your feelings. You stop begging people to understand your heart because you realize something life-changing. People who want to misunderstand you will do it anyway. No amount of explaining will make a selfish person care. No amount of kindness will make a taker give. No amount of loyalty will make a liar honest. You can break yourself trying to prove your worth to the wrong people. I remember the day I stopped. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was simple. I just woke up tired of defending my emotions, tired of being the bigger person, tired of pretending I was unaffected. So I made another decision. I will not explain my value ever again. If someone can't see it, they don't deserve access to it. And when you make that decision, something incredible happens. Your voice grows stronger, your heart grows lighter, your mind grows calmer, because you realize the truth. The right people respect your boundaries, the right people honor your feelings, the right people don't need to be convinced. They just care. The wrong people will call you changed, cold, rude, or selfish, but that's only because they can't manipulate you anymore. And listen carefully, being misunderstood is not your failure, it's your freedom. When you stop trying to be liked, you start living. When you stop explaining your worth, you protect your soul. When you stop chasing people, you make space for those who will run toward you. This is where your happiness sharpens. This is where your peace grows roots. This is where your heart finally rests. Because the moment you stop explaining who you are, you create space to become who you were always meant to be. There is a version of you that used to say yes, just to stay liked. A version that tolerated disrespect because confrontation felt scary. A version that accepted crumbs because you were afraid to lose people. But there comes a day when your soul whispers, I'm done. Not angry, not bitter, just done. And that is the beginning of wisdom. You start seeing the difference between people who deserve access to you and people who only deserve distance from you. Protecting your peace is not rude. Protecting your peace is not selfish. Protecting your peace is survival. Because peace is not the absence of noise. Peace is the absence of emotional chaos. It's saying, I don't need to argue with you to prove I'm right. I don't need to reply to every disrespect. I don't need your approval to breathe. You learn that silence is a response, distance is a boundary, growth is a form of self-respect. And the beautiful part, when you stop fighting battles that don't belong to you, life becomes lighter, your mind becomes quiet, your body stops vibrating with stress. Your heart stops living in defense mode. You begin to feel safe inside yourself again. And here is the truth many people never accept. Your peace will cost you people, but losing them will not cost you peace. Wow. When you walk away from guilt, manipulation, disrespect, and drama, you're not losing anything. You're gaining yourself back. And the moment you taste that freedom, you promise yourself never to return to the person who suffered for the comfort of others. You become someone who can sit alone without feeling lonely, someone who can say no without shaking, someone who can stand up for themselves without apologizing. That is the day happiness stops being a dream and becomes your lifestyle. Because real happiness doesn't start when life changes. It starts when you finally protect your peace, like your life depends on it. There's a painful truth no one teaches us growing up. You cannot heal while staying close to what broke you. But we try, don't we? We stay loyal to people who lie. We forgive people who don't apologize. We love people who choose everyone but us. We fight for people who wouldn't lift a finger for us. Not because we're weak, but because we have hearts that feel too deeply. But here's the heartbreak every time you give someone another chance. You lose another piece of yourself. You tell yourself, maybe they'll change. Maybe they'll finally see my worth. Maybe this time will be different. But it never is. Pain doesn't change people. Losing you does. The one decision that started my happiness was this. I stopped loving people who hurt me. I stopped romanticizing potential. I stopped forgiving behavior that continued. I stopped giving chances to people who showed me who they were the first time. And that wasn't cold, that wasn't cruel, that was self-respect. Some people do not love you. They love your silence, they love your effort, they love your loyalty, they love your forgiveness, but they do not love you. Letting go is not failing, letting go is choosing to live, because every time you love someone who keeps hurting you, you betray your own heart. And the truth is simple, you do not need to hurt to be loved. You do not need to beg to be valued. You do not need to suffer to matter. Happiness doesn't begin when someone changes. Happiness begins when you decide to stop suffering for them. The day you walk away from painful love, your life expands. Your heart starts healing, your peace comes home, and you realize something powerful. You were never asking for too much. You were just asking the wrong person. Saying no is one of the most difficult decisions we ever make, but it is also one of the most life-changing. We are conditioned to say yes, yes to requests, yes to favors, yes to people who drain us. Yes to obligations that weigh heavy on our hearts. Yes to everything that doesn't serve our happiness. We say yes because we want to be liked, because we want to avoid conflict, because we're afraid of being judged as selfish. But here's the raw truth. Every time you say yes when your soul screams no, you steal your own life. I learned this the hard way. I said yes for years, yes to work that exhausted me, yes to people who didn't respect my time, yes to obligations that crushed my spirit. And slowly, quietly, I disappeared. My happiness evaporated. My energy drained. My peace became a distant memory. Then one day, I made a radical decision. No more. No more saying yes out of fear. No more prioritizing others over my own soul. No more bending until I broke. Saying no doesn't just protect your time. It protects your energy, your heart, and your self-worth. It creates boundaries that others must respect. And when you say no without guilt, your happiness begins to grow like sunlight through a dark window. People will try to guilt you. People will test you. People will call you selfish. But here's the secret: being selfish is not refusing to help others. It's refusing to lose yourself in the process. Your yes has power. So does your no? And your life only begins to feel whole when you honor the power of both. Happiness doesn't arrive when you please everyone. It arrives when you please yourself first. Saying no is not a rejection of others. It is a declaration of your self-respect. And that declaration is the cornerstone of freedom, peace, and true happiness. We spend so much of our lives chasing perfection, chasing the flawless job, the perfect relationship, the ideal body, the right life. We think if we achieve it, happiness will follow. But here's the truth: perfection is a trap. Perfection teaches us to fear failure. Perfection teaches us to criticize ourselves endlessly. Perfection teaches us to hide our flaws, our messes, our real selves. I spent years trying to be perfect. I tried to please everyone, control every outcome, and erase every mistake. And the more I tried, the further happiness slipped from my grasp. Because perfection isn't freedom. Perfection is prison. The moment I decided to let go of perfection, everything changed. I stopped judging myself for mistakes. I stopped fearing others' opinions. I stopped comparing my journey to everyone else's highlight reel. I made a simple but radical decision. I will choose progress over perfection. I will embrace my flaws as part of my story. I will honor my limits instead of resenting them. And that choice became the most liberating act of my life. Letting go of perfection doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you stop punishing yourself for being human. It means you accept that you are enough right now with all your scars, your stumbles, and your messy beauty. When you embrace imperfection, happiness stops being a distant dream. It starts showing up in small moments, waking up without self-criticism, laughing without holding back, loving without fear of being flawed. Perfection tries to control you. Happiness lets you breathe. So today, I invite you to let go. Let go of the idea that you have to be perfect to be loved, accepted, or worthy. Let go of the pressure, the stress, the self-judgment. And watch your life open up in ways you never thought possible. Because real happiness doesn't hide behind flawless. It thrives in the beautifully messy reality of being alive. One of the heaviest burdens we carry is the illusion that we need permission. Permission to feel joy. Permission to take care of ourselves. Permission to chase our dreams. Permission to leave what hurts us. I spent decades waiting for someone to tell me it was okay to be happy. I thought if I made the right choices, kept everyone else satisfied, and followed the rules, happiness would finally arrive. But here's the truth: happiness doesn't wait for anyone's approval. No one owes you your joy. No one is going to hand it to you. And if you wait for permission, you will be waiting forever. The day I decided to give myself permission was the day everything shifted. I woke up and said, I am allowed to feel joy. I am allowed to take up space. I am allowed to love myself fully, even if others don't understand. And let me tell you, it felt dangerous. It felt rebellious. It felt almost wrong. Because for years, I had been taught that putting myself first was selfish, that prioritizing my happiness was greedy, that honoring my heart meant rejecting others. But nothing could be further from the truth. Giving yourself permission is not selfish. It is revolutionary. It is an act of courage, a declaration that your life matters. It is a commitment to living fully, unapologetically, and fiercely. And here's the most beautiful part: once you grant yourself permission, others start to see you differently, not because you are demanding it, but because they witness your self-respect, your confidence, your peace. Happiness starts to flow naturally. Peace becomes tangible. Life feels lighter. You realize that waiting for someone else to validate your joy was keeping you trapped. So today, make the decision: stop asking for permission, stop waiting for approval, stop letting others dictate your worth. Your happiness begins the moment you claim it for yourself. Happiness is not a one-time decision. It is not a single act that fixes everything. Happiness is a series of choices you make every day, often small, quiet, invisible choices that no one else notices. I learned that the hard way. The first big decision to protect my happiness was life-changing, yes, but the real challenge came afterward. Every morning I had to choose myself again. Choose to say no to toxic people. Choose to forgive without forgetting. Choose to speak my truth. Choose to release what I cannot control. Choose to protect my peace over pleasing others. Some days were easy. Some days were excruciating. Some days I wanted to give in, to take the easy route, to let fear or guilt dictate my actions, and sometimes I did. But the secret is this: every time you choose yourself, even in the smallest way, you reclaim a piece of your life. It doesn't matter if no one applauds. It doesn't matter if no one sees. It doesn't matter if people call you selfish. What matters is that you honor your heart, your energy, your soul. What matters is that You refuse to shrink for anyone's comfort. What matters is that you remind yourself daily that you are the only person who truly owns your happiness. And over time, these choices compound. The little decisions become habits. The habits become a lifestyle. The lifestyle becomes a life that is truly yours. So if you want to feel alive, free, and fulfilled, choose yourself when it's hard. Choose yourself when it's uncomfortable. Choose yourself even when the world tells you it's wrong, because your happiness is never found outside of you. It is cultivated, protected, and honored within you every single day. The moment you fully embrace this, you stop waiting for life to give you joy. You start creating it fiercely, boldly, unapologetically. And that is where true freedom lies. Let me leave you with this truth. Simple but seismic, your happiness starts and ends with one decision, you deciding that you are worth it, not your circumstances, not your past, not anyone else, you. I want you to imagine your life. If you made this decision today, you would stop begging for love you don't receive. You would stop chasing validation that doesn't exist. You would stop apologizing for your presence, your feelings, your dreams. You would wake up lighter, breathe easier, and walk through life without the weight of other people's expectations pressing on your shoulders. It doesn't mean life becomes perfect. It doesn't mean pain disappears. It doesn't mean mistakes won't happen. What it does mean is this: you are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the author of your joy. Every choice you make from this point forward, saying no, letting go, forgiving, protecting your peace, is a testament to that one decision. It's proof that you are loyal to your soul. It's proof that your happiness matters. It's proof that you are finally living, not just surviving. So start today, start now. Decide that you will not give your power away. Decide that your joy is not optional. Decide that you deserve life fully and unapologetically. And when you do, you will feel it. The lightness in your chest, the calm in your mind, the quiet smile that spreads across your face when no one is looking. Because here is the last truth I want you to carry with you. Happiness is not a destination. It is a choice, one choice, made over and over again. And it always starts with you. Make that choice today. Make it bravely. Make it boldly. Make it yours. And watch as your life transforms in ways you never imagined. Because when you decide that your happiness matters, everything else begins to fall into place. Your happiness starts with this one decision. Claim it. Own it. Live it.